Hey Alaka fam, this is going to be a really exciting video for you. Now on Alakazam Unlimited we have loads of video series, but one of the ones that always goes down well is the Unlimited Journeys. Now this essentially takes us through the journey of some of the most well-known magicians in the world. How they maybe got into magic, advice they'd give their younger self, what advice they give themselves before they arrive to a gig, loads of things like that, just valuable nuggets of information that could help you on your journey. Now what we've done is we've taken an answer from a few of the journeys that are already up on Unlimited, just to give you a little feel of what they're about, and maybe you can even learn some. So let's jump straight into some snippets of the Unlimited journeys. And remember, if you want to see the rest of their answers and the rest of their journey, subscribe to Alakazam Unlimited for just $4.99 per month. Cheers guys, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Unlimited Journeys. Today we've got a real treat. We've got someone who's going to be doing some more stuff on the Unlimited platform, which you may or may not know about at this point. And we've also got an episode of Desert Island Tricks coming out with this gentleman. He's actually just come from the West End in Unbelievable, which I saw an unbelievable amount of times. And it was excellent each time. I loved it every time, mainly because there was a spirit cabinet in there, and we love one of those. It is Mr. Simon Lipkin.
Hello. I'm assuming there'll be a round of applause.
They're at home clapping right now.
Well, that's good, isn't it? That's good. Millions of them.
Millions and millions.
This is I genuinely, this is amazing. I've been in movies and played, you know, the Palladium, but this is.
Let's move on. So, if you guys don't know, Simon is actually a musical theatre actor as well. And a weird serendipitous thing, I found out one of my favourite shows that I saw many years ago was one called Avenue Q, which I loved. And Simon was actually one of the originators of the roles, in several of the roles in that show. Yeah. So I actually have the original programme of Simon in it.
That was amazing.
And he hasn't aged a day.
I have. I was 20 years old when I did that, and now I am, what's the time? Nearly dead. So that's it was a long time ago. But yeah, I've had a very lucky, lovely career as an actor, doing lots of big shows in the West End and television series and films and all sorts of things. And had a very lucky, lovely career. But alongside that, every step of the way has been a love for magic that has kept me sane and happy and motivated. And now, in the last few years, really become a second career. Really, it's been an amazing journey and a surprise to me and to everyone else around me that that magic has become such a huge part of my life. And really, that's thanks to some incredible people around me and people that introduced me back into the magic world and inspired me and made me push myself in a new direction, which has changed my life. I think it's very easy to look at people sometimes and assume that person's in a movie, on a poster, on the tube, they're great. And actually, life was, before really getting back into the magic world, was very samey and a little bit depressing, and I was not happy. And so to have found this incredible world of weird and wonderful people with this weird and wonderful, amazing hobby and love and passion properly made me happy again. So I literally have magic to thank for so much in my life. So doing things like this, I joke and say, look at where we are. We're in a magic shop, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier being in a place like this with people like this. Makes me very, very, very happy and proud.
So let's take you on a little journey then. We're going to take you for a journey. And if I'm honest, I don't mind if you go on the theatre route or the magic route, either way.
I'm glad you don't mind, because you're not paying me for this. So. So you'll get what you're given.
That's the tagline we want for these. That's it. You get what you give them. So, what was the process of turning pro? Now, I understand that there are two situations for you, really.
Yeah.
There would have been the moment where you took the leap to become a professional in theatre.
Yeah.
And then there would have been a leap where you became a pro in magic.
Yeah.
So it's entirely up to you. But what was that process? At what point did you go, that's it. Now I'm just going to take the leap. I'm going to become a professional at that thing.
They were both actually completely unexpected. So I was at drama college. I went to my secondary school was a school called the Sylvia Young Theatre School, which specialises in kids in the performing arts. So from the age of sort of 13, 14, I was out doing voiceovers and bits of telly and working from a young age. I would do 3 days a week of English, maths and science. And then the other 2 days I would do singing and dancing and acting. And I mean, it was a joy. And then I went to drama school at 16 and I sort of just hated it. I don't know why. I think maybe because I had spent quite a few years actually working. So then going into an institution where they've got that attitude of we'll break you down to build you up, just didn't connect with me. It just didn't love it. So I left and I sort of was in a little bit of a limbo of kind of, what do I do now? And a friend called up and said, I've got you an audition for a thing. I didn't know what it was. I just went, I ran, I got the job. And literally from that point onwards, my career started, and it, touch wood, hasn't ever stopped. So I got lucky is the honest answer, but maybe there was something out there that just thought, let's give him an opportunity. I've always been one for never really saying no to anything. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that I've always sort of felt like you should listen and respond. There's a rule in acting, which is listen and respond, right? Mm-hmm. You don't just say lines, don't just genuinely be in the moment, listen to what the other person is saying and respond to that thing. And I sort of do that with life. Mm-hmm. I do that and think, how do I listen genuinely in this moment to what the world is putting out there, and how should I respond? Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I was in a situation where I thought, okay, well, I should go and retrain. I should pick up my training elsewhere. And that happened. And I thought, no, this is what it feels like the right thing to do. Do that. I did it. I got a job. I started working. I went straight into Joseph in the West End. After that, I was 18 years old when I did Joseph in the West End. And then straight after that, at 19, I got cast in the original cast of Avenue Q in the West End, playing one of the leading roles in that, which was amazing. I had to lie to Cameron Mackintosh about my age. So for those of you that don't know, Cameron Mackintosh is one of the biggest theatrical producers on the planet, and that has ever been. And so I had to tell him I was 25 when I was 19, so that he wouldn't think I was too young to do the job, because the team wanted me to get the job, which was very nice of them. So that sort of started my career, and that's gone ever since and led on to amazing things. And the same sort of thing happened, like I just said, with magic. I was meeting Andy Nyman. We had done a show called Assassins together, which is a musical written by Stephen Sondheim. And we became such good friends just because we were two Jewish lads who loved musicals and loved magic. And I didn't really know who Andy was. I was just like, it's my mate Andy. I know he's really good at magic. And then I knew that he had, created Darren with Andrew and Darren and the amount of work he had done. But that wasn't the first thing I learnt about Andy. And so he asked me if I would do Ghost Stories, his play. And so I went in just to kind of meet the team and do that. And he said, I'm going to the Magic Circle tonight. And I went, oh gosh, okay, yeah, come. And I almost didn't go because I thought, no, I've just read for a play. This is awkward. But I went, and going on that day changed my life. I met a guy called Kevin Bird, who was the examination secretary at the time. And he was the magician at my bar mitzvah when I was 13.
Wow.
And he taught me magic, right? He taught me a trick. He did a trick with the Queen of Hearts. And I have that card tattooed on my arm because I kept that card in my wallet since I was a kid. So to meet him, for him to be the examination secretary and go, great. I'd worked with Scott Penrose, who at the time was the president, on a couple of shows. So he kind of proposed me and seconded me, and Andy did the same, all in that night. And then before I knew it, my exam was booked in for 4 weeks' time after that. And I just thought, okay, here we go. And all of a sudden I was a member of the Magic Circle. And then that moment changed my life. But turning pro was a different thing. Am I waffling?
No, it's great.
Okay, sorry. It was during lockdown. I was sat in a flat by myself, and I needed something to fill the days. And I thought, you've never really made gimmicks or done anything like that. I love reading books. I am a sucker for just collecting methods and things from old books, and anything that I now create and release, you'll see that in there. I've got no interest in creating electronics and things. I want fun and simple and bold methods. So I collected all of these methods, and I thought, well, just try and make something. So I made it. I was quite proud of it. So I put it on Instagram and just went, I made a thing. And it sort of, that was nice. And then the next day I thought, that was fun yesterday. Let me do it again. And then it started, I just started to create a new trick every day. I challenged myself to invent a new trick every day. I could use old existing methods, but no gimmicks that existed, nothing. I had to make it all from scratch and put it online that night. And I did that for 50 days. I invented a trick every day for 50 days. Wow. Some of them very inventive, some of them absolute car crashes. Car crashes? Car crash-I. Collective term for car crash. Car crush. I car crash, we car creesh.
Now you're waffling.
So I did that, and I fell in love with making magic and creating magic. And so I then started to have ideas, and I was on the phone with Preston Nyman, Andy's son, a lot of the time, and we jam about ideas. And I showed that idea to one person, and they said, we'd like that. We would like to buy that and release that. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then that just sort of all started spiraling. I started gigging, and I started gigging mainly to just work in these new ideas that I was having, because I thought, I don't want to just release stuff that isn't, I haven't at least had a go at it enough. And I think it's really good to be honest about that stuff. A lot of people say, I've been working on this for 46 years and now I'm releasing it. I think, no, you haven't. You came up with this 6 months ago, and it's a great idea, but that's okay that you came up with it 6 months ago. Just, make it that, which is why a lot of the stuff I like to lecture or put in multi-trick downloads or stuff like that, because there are ideas that are really great, but I want people to use this brilliant method or concept that I've maybe come up with and then run with it. So turning pro magically was a sort of slow, steady race through that. But I guess what felt really huge was when I led Darren Brown's Unbelievable in the West End. That's the moment that I felt like, I think I might be a magician in equal measure to an actor. And alongside that, then getting to perform magic on the Royal Variety performance, just me for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was an overwhelming, incredible day, which I just couldn't believe. I had a real game face on during the day. It was really like, I'm professional, nothing phases me. The minute it finished, I was outside shaking on the phone to my other half, Georgie. It was an amazing day, one that I will never forget. I had Harry de Cruz by my side all day, looking after me like a best friend you couldn't hope for more from, just supporting me and being there. He was the head of magic on the show. Darren was there, Andrew O'Connor. It was incredible. That is the sort of period where I really felt like, I guess I'm a magician, and I am very proud to be one.
And not just saying it because I'm here, you were a standout performer in that show.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of magicians in particular who went to see that show said that you were, for them, probably the standout highlight of that show.
That's really kind. That's really kind. And also cost me a fortune. So I'll pay you the invoices. I've got them all. It's just we closed early, so I'm short on cash.
What's one piece of advice that you would give yourself back then, knowing everything that you know now?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, because the person looking at that story back then, I've evolved into this person that's talking to you now. As I look at myself back then in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm astonished at how ignorant I was. I didn't know anything about anything. The only thing I knew was how to do magic. That's all I knew. What would I say to myself? I'm going to say something. I'm very proud of that young Michael Vincent, because I was armed with only one thing, and it's the one thing that's kept me steady, the fact that I could do the work. Okay? I'm trying to answer your question authentically. What would I say to myself? Don't worry. You've got the talent, you've got the ability. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to do the job and do it well. And just keep learning what you need to learn. Don't resist it. As confronting as it is, yes, it's going to be hard, but you can always get help if you ask the right people. I didn't know how to ask for help because my psychological makeup worked against me. Like, I was very shy. And I also suffered an inadequacy complex. Some people say they're not good enough. Well, mine was I was profoundly inadequate in many areas. So it was confronting for me to ask someone for help because I made that mean that I wasn't good at something. And when I have that feeling, I don't want to talk about it. Even now, it still bugs me. Okay, so if anyone's listening to this, there might be somebody that can relate to what I'm saying. So you've got to get yourself out of the way. Ask for help. It's there. Look at the world we're in today now. If you've got an idea, you can bring it to life in literally a few hours. Why? Ask Google. Go onto YouTube. YouTube's free. YouTube is the greatest university for learning something. I learned photography through YouTube. Make sense? I don't learn magic through YouTube. I'm a book reader. I'm still a book reader. So
you can either share with us a funny, an embarrassing, if you're brave enough, and we've had some interesting ones of those, or a poignant moment in your career. So one of those, or multiple, if you want to go in those directions.
I've got cock-ups for days. All right, we'll do one of those. I might do a few of them. I've got a lot of them. So I'll give this. This would be like a locked room mystery. I will tell you what happened, but I'll give it to you and give you a few seconds to you try and work out what happened. I was at a group of. I was at a table. I was doing some magic, and I just obviously been at the table before when I started to do magic for this table. And I was about to do ring flight, and it was the El Duco ring flight, and I reached round to my back pocket to steal the clip, and there was a ring on the clip. And I'm looking at people, and I just gave him a deck of cards. You shuffle the cards, I'll let you know when you're done. Just keep shuffling them. And I was like, that is, and I could feel it, and I was like, and I could like squeeze it, going, oh, it's like a big band. And then I looked around, thinking the universe will give me an answer to this. I looked around, nothing. Right, so I'm going to give you that for 3 seconds to think about. Right,
okay.
There's no possible conclusion. I said, did I start the trick at the last table and not finish ring flight? Was the only reasonable?
That's the only logical
conclusion. Like, no, nothing at all. And then I looked at the table before, and I sort of looked at them for a bit longer, and eventually they started to like howl with laughter. I was like, still none the wiser. What happened is I bent over at the new table, and the glint from the ring fight clip was, they could see it, glinting against my backside on the black trousers. And so someone had grabbed it and pulled it. To their absolute stunning surprise, the thing pulled out a bit of length. So then they clipped the ring back onto it and fired it back towards my arse. I had no idea at all. And still to this day, I think of that was absolutely one of them. So that was there's been a lot of sort of weird moments like that. There's been some absolutely dreadful ones as well. Think of, do I want them for posterity? Let me think for a moment. This is going to make you feel uncomfortable because it is a dreadful memory. I did magic at a